close friend of mine from uni, we got into reading The Motley Fool together, which was essentially super cutting edge when they launched in 93, and we were doing this in like 2009, 2010. Essentially a stock news, like their narrative at the time, their narrative has shifted in a lot of ways, but it was a monthly stock newsletter where it's two brothers that are investing against each other. And I was like, that is awesome. And so my friend and I were like running a collaboration where we were reading that together and then like talking once a month. And it was like, you know, they say that that's how guys keep in touch, is through gamification, like by playing games. So that was like our video game was doing that. And that was good. And it was very, for me, it was a major step forward to go in and learn the methodologies of David Gardner, I think in particular as an investor, and then Tom Gardner as like the CEO of their business, and like get a sense of what they were about. But then I did find that damaged my independent thought. And I actually went in like a little bit of a slump because I was reading these things and I was getting away from my own natural processes. And so for me, it was like a big step to go in, learn their system, see what they were doing. Again, like a nice, they were English majors that became investors. I'm an English major that became an investor. So like it was like these like North Stars, but it was also a big step forward to unsubscribe and get back to what I do. And the moment that I did that, the moment my performance, you know, skyrocketed. So to me, I guess the way to think about it, I fall into the analysis paralysis trap, to put it mildly. Like when I struggle, that's where I struggle. I never struggle when I'm in it and I'm improvising, pretty much never. I can be very prone to striking out without swinging. And so when I have clients that are telling me that they spotted, you know, Apple in 2002, but they couldn't even buy one share, like I resonate with that. And I've done a lot of work on the writing side to help them with that. And that is something to be heavily on guard against when you're consuming information. So one of my main mantras that helps me break through to like finish a book or launch a business or launch a new service or what have you is the idea of targeted research and needed info in stride only. I think I mentioned that during the last conversation, but essentially if an information gap manifests as a problem and you've slammed into a roadblock, or if you can very clearly see like this chasm that if you just keep running just as you are, you're going to fall off of a cliff. Sure, it makes sense to like plug in that gap on the spot, but it doesn't make sense to try to become omniscient before you've begun. Because to quote my coach who works at NASA before, action creates information, and it creates key context in the form of experience. So that kind of information is beautiful if you're in motion. If you like see a North Star, you're chasing the North Star, and then you run into a snag, then targeted research to solve the problem on the spot makes all the sense in the world. It doesn't make sense before you've begun. And I think, as we've talked about a lot, this is mostly an EQ problem and not so much of an IQ problem. There's a lot of emotional work that you need to do intracranially to like set a target, set milestones, begin even though it's scary and there's so much uncertainty. That's the work that needs to happen. And if we're honest, mass consuming information at the speed of thought, spending $20 and couple of hours on an ebook or an audiobook or whatever over and over and over it's a comfort food. It's McDonald's for the mind. Even if it's genius thought, it's still McDonald's for the mind. And I think you reach a saturation point where you know it, but then you've built a muscle of analysis and inaction. And then to flip that is obviously a huge challenge.